Good morning, children. Now today we are going to study about the osmotic pressure. This is the last topic of the colligative properties of the solution and also of the chapter solution. Before understanding this osmotic pressure, first we should know what is osmosis. Osmosis is defined as that process in which the movement of particles from lower concentration to higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is known as osmosis. This we can study with the help of an example. Suppose concentrated solution of copper sulfate is taken in one container and that is divided by a semi-permeable membrane, and to the another part of that container which is on the another part contains the dilute solution of copper sulfate. With time, it has been found that the level of concentrated solution of copper sulfate increases as the particles from the low concentrated solution of copper sulfate moves through the semi-permeable membrane to the higher concentration part. Thereby, this movement through the semi-permeable membrane is known as osmosis. This you have seen another examples that you will see that when you have taken the resins. Resin, when you dip is, in Hindi we call it as kishmish. Okay, so this resin when it is dipped in water after 1 hour or something, 1 or 2 hours, when you find that this resins gets swollen up. Okay, how did it get swollen up? Because the water that is present in outside the resin, that is whether it is mixed in water. So water passes, the particles or of molecules of water passes through the semi-permeable covering of that resin into the concentrated solution part of that resin, thereby changing it and its texture and as well as property also sometimes changes. That is known as resin gets swelled up. If you try to do the same thing with the reverse condition, try to put the grapes in very high concentrated solution of sugar, then you will find that these grapes get shrinking, because the content molecules of water from these grapes comes out through the semi-permeable membrane into the high concentration of the sugar solution. So in this way you have understood the osmosis. Now second part that you have to understand is osmotic pressure. It is the pressure exerted by the side of higher concentration to maintain the equilibrium between the concentrated solution and the dilute solution is known as osmotic pressure. That is the minimum pressure required. This you can study with the help of one example. This is a container and it is divided by the semi-permeable membrane. In this part you will find the solvent. This is the solvent molecules, and here you can see there is an opening to add the solvent molecules from here. To add in solvent. This part is containing very high concentration. You can change the message. This contains high concentrated solution. And to this it is added one piston. Piston is added here so that here piston is added to maintain the pressure. Okay. Now what happens here? When there is piston is in its position, first position, no changes has been done, simple it is there. What happens? The molecules, solvent molecules from this dilute solution, that is the solvent, passes through the semi-permeable membrane into the solution part. Ultimately what happens? These particles are moving from here, solvent particles, level of this goes down and the level of this solution moves up. But when a slight pressure is applied through this piston and some pressure is applied and moved up till here, now no more movement of solvent molecule is allowed from this part, that is the solvent part, that is dilute solution, to the concentrated part, that is the concentrated solution, highly concentrated solution. Thereby an equilibrium is maintained. That pressure which is exerted to maintain the equilibrium between the solvent and the solution part of that container separated by the semi-permeable membrane is known as osmotic pressure. Now in this way, we can study the two other properties, how this helps to understand the content, that is the dissociation and association of the molecules, helps in understanding the osmotic pressure. Yes, children, in order to understand the osmotic pressure, one method is there. There are many methods to understand this osmotic pressure, that is to calculate the osmotic pressure. One Barclay-Hartless method, that is Barclay's and Hartless method. In this method, one porous tube is taken, surrounded by that porous tube contains the solvent molecules and is surrounded by a container containing a solution, and osmotic pressure has been maintained. So in this way, when we calculate the osmotic pressure is represented by pi, and this pi is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution at the given temperature. Okay, temperature is also maintained at that particular temperature. The movement of solvent molecules to the solution takes place. So pi will be directly proportional to Ct. C is the concentration, T is the temperature. This pi is also equal to RCT. R is the constant, and we know C is equal to N upon V. C concentration is equal to number of moles by the volume of the solution. So we can put this value of C in this equation. Pi is equal to NV by RT, NVRT we will get. Pi is equal to N by V RT. Again I am repeating. So this pi V will be equal to nRT. This value will help us to find out the osmotic pressure of the system or solution that has been exerted. Okay. Now after this we will study about how the difference in the molar masses, or you can say the pressure exerted due to the dissociation and association of the molecules helps to take place. Yes. Now the value which we got, pi V is equal to RCT. The R is the CT which we are having here. That is, now pi V is equal to nRT. This value which we have obtained is this is equation, and this equation is known as Vent-Hoff factor. This is known as Vent-Hoff factor. Okay, so this we can use to find out the molar mass of the compounds or the substance solute that is present in order to find out the qualitative properties. To understand the qualitative properties of osmotic pressure. Here also you see pi is the osmotic pressure, V is the volume, N is the number of moles that is present, R constant, and T temperature is there. Now here also N is equal to weight of the substance, given substance by its molecular mass, that we can which we have studied earlier also. This we can put in this equation. So we will get pi V is equal to W2 by M2 RT. Okay. So in that way, we have to find out M2, that is the molar mass of the component that is present here, and that is required to find out the osmotic pressure. So that will be equal to W to RT by pi V. Okay. So in this way, this I will write down again. So this is not written very neatly. So here you will see M2 is equal to W2 RT by pi V. So this is the expression that we have obtained from Vent-Hoff factor to understand to calculate the molar mass of the solute that is responsible to undergo this osmotic pressure, where the number of molecules is very essential to find out here. So that is why it is depending upon the qualitative property. Now we will study the abnormal molar masses. Abnormal molar masses means the molar mass, that what we observe and what we calculate, there is difference. There are two things happen, children. One time when we study the contact, when the dissociation takes place. Other time we study when the association takes place. Now what is dissociation? Whenever any salt like sodium chloride or any salt, sulfate, acids or bases, when it is dissolved in water, it dissociates. It changes to its ionic state. So this ion, we have added one molecule of NaCl, suppose, but it has dissociated into two ions. So actual addition and the number of ions has been is different. So it increases the number of ions, thereby the calculated value is more than the observed value. Similarly, when we try to find out the molar masses, we see the example of acetic acid in benzene or benzoic acid in benzene. At that time, dissociation do not take place, but in spite of that, association of the molecules takes place. Like in this way, here also we can see the association of the molecules, like acetic acid, we know acetic acid RCOOH, when two molecules of this in this way, you can see the two molecules, they are associated together by the use of this hydrogen bond that is present. Hydrogen bond is attached with one of the negative to the another positive. That is negative part of one acid and the positive end of that another one. Here I have made little mistakes. Just you see oxygen, where it is forming a hydrogen bond with hydrogen, and here it is C double bond OH is there. This is there, correct. This is there. And here also, here by writing this, I have made one patch with this, and here it should be oxygen. Little mistake I have done by writing children. Yes, children, little bit mistake was there by making this structure. So here this hydrogen, with the help of this hydrogen bond, these two molecules of acetic acid, they associate. So observed molecular mass of that solution is different from that of the that is the calculated one. So in this way, the two content or O2 concept plays an important role in finding out the abnormal molecular mass of the solution while understanding the osmotic pressure. So this is the expression. I is for the Ventov factor. This can be calculated by the experimental value divided by observed value of the qualitative properties. Yes, children. Hope you can see this very clearly. Now we are going to study about the calculation of degree of dissociation. How much substance has been dissociated and how you can relate that with the experimental value as well as the observed value. So in order to understand this, first we will talk about degree of dissociation, how much it has been dissociated, and taking examples of salt and bases and acids. So alpha, this is the degree of dissociation that you find. This is equal to number of moles of substance dissociated. How much number of substance dissociated? By the total number of molecules. So this is the alpha. Now, if we want to study that, we have to understand the concept. We will see that if 1 mole of solute at an equilibrium, that means if 1 mole of solute we have taken and it is dissolved in a solution and maintain the equilibrium between the dissociated and undissociated state. So 1 minus alpha is considered to be the undissociated state and N alpha will be the dissociated state. So these two, 1 minus alpha means 1 is the amount of solute which will dissolve, only alpha part of it gets dissociated and rest remains there. So 1 minus alpha is remaining there and the rest which has been dissociated is only the alpha part. So that is the total number of alpha that is present, it will be the dissociated ions that is present. Dissociated ions we can consider. So total, that is a total dissociated and undissociated. Both the molecules are still present in it. So we can see that 1 minus alpha, this 1 minus alpha plus N alpha. Now on calculating or changing this into 1 minus N alpha plus N alpha. On substituting, you will get 1 plus N minus 1 alpha. So this value you are getting for N after calculating and adding the total number of ions that is present in it. Then what we have? Observed value. This is the observed value which we are getting after calculating. But theoretically what? Only 1 mole of solute you have added. So substituting that with a Ventov factor on putting these values in Ventov factor equation, we will get this this observed upon calculated, that is the theoretical one, observed or calculated upon the theoretical. So in this way we have find out the alpha after putting these values here, And we know that what is I? I is the Van't Hoff factor, where the molar mass of the calculated by the molar mass of the observed component, that is maybe the difference. That difference that will be observed can be related with that of Van't Hoff factor I. The final equation that we will get be, so on putting this value of I in this equation, that means we will get MC, that is the total molar mass of the calculated by observed, minus that after substituting that in the place of -1 you will get this value. So this is the value for finding out the degree of dissociation that takes place, actual reaction. Yes children, now we are going to see the degree of association. We have to calculate the degree of association. Now this alpha you know very well now. This is number of moles associated. Now don't call it as dissociated. Now it is associated by total number of molecules there. So here, suppose if we take 1 mole of the component A1 component is there, it's 1 mole is taken. So here you will see that we will find an equilibrium. And it's the number of A is the molecules, when n number of it is taken, and that some of it gets associated, and that associated is also dissociated in that number molecule. So you can get an equilibrium equation. You can write with an equilibrium equation. Now you can see just this line we will discuss afterwards. First we will discuss this. Number of moles of A. That after association, when association is going on, so total number of A will be there, 1 minus alpha. Alpha molecules has been associated. So how many number of AN? AN means that is after the formation of product, that is after the association. So AN will be X upon N. X is the total number that has been associated by, X is the number of molecules associated by the total number of molecules, that is N. So these two values we are getting. So total number of molecules will be associated and the unassociated both. So these two will be added up. So you will get 1 minus alpha plus alpha by N. So this equation you will get after adding up that is the total number of molecules or the total number of ions that is present in the solution. Now here I is you know very well, up till now it is very clear to you. I is the Van't Hoff factor, and Van't Hoff factor, in that we put the values of this value. See here the 1 minus alpha plus this whole value divided by 1. This is the observed value. You know I is the calculation of I, that is Van't Hoff factor. Observed value by calculated. So this is observed by the theoretical value, that is 1 we are already having. After putting this, we can do the calculation. And when we are doing the calculation, we get alpha is the total number of molecule associated. That will be alpha is equal to 1 minus I and by n minus 1. And after doing the calculation, you will get this value. And there you can find, may I hold this a little bit. Here you see, I you know it is the molecular mass of the calculated by observed, and that is equal to the value we have obtained after taking the example of 1 mole. So putting these values, alpha can be calculated, and final equation, that is the final equation of degree of association can be obtained. So these two equations which you are getting after degree of association as well as degree of dissociation, you can use to solve various types of numericals.